Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Dead Duck Film Club podcast. I'm here with Mark.
Hello, back in our lovely studio at Nottingham City College.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to the Nottingham City College for allowing us to use the studio. We really appreciate it. Today, we're going to be talking about one movie, one short movie, and a director. François Ozon. Who's the director of a new movie who just released, which is called The Stranger. The Stranger, which is an adaptation of a famously, actually, they said it was impossible to adapt this book really? Back in the day, and they tried in the 1960s, didn't work out. Albert Camus, L'Étranger from 1942. And then we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to both we're going to watch it together, his very first short movie called Photo de Famille from 1988. So the very first thing he filmed, I think, and put out there. I don't even know how they found it, to be honest.
This is something that I love doing, finding a director who I really like in the modern day and then going back to see the very first thing they did. Like when they were young and sort of hot and coming out the gates, what's the first thing they wanted to do? What is it that they really wanted to say? I think it says a lot about who somebody is. So yeah, I've not seen this, not seen the short.
Not seen the short, but you have seen L'Étranger, which we're going to be talking about. Okay, so the novel follows our main character called Meursault, Monsieur Meursault, who's played by Benjamin Voisin. He's a French-Algerian man who attends his mother's funeral. I don't want to reveal too much. I'm going to read the IMDb because that one doesn't have complete... it encapsulates it pretty well, sorry. In 1930s Algeria, the daily life of an indifferent Frenchman is shaken by the death of his mother and a fateful encounter on a beach.
I can see what it is that they're trying to not say. But I would also question whether or not he was shaken by the death of his mother, but I guess we'll come back to that.
It depends. Yeah, he does talk about it.
He does.
So let's just dive... Oh, well, actually, before that, do you want to talk to us about any movies you recently watched?
Oh, yes. We can cut that out later. There wasn't anything that happened there. What did I watch recently that I want to talk about? We should probably talk about the drama.
Yeah, okay,
which,
yes.
As people who love international film, the drama is not an international film, but It is directed by a Norwegian director, Borgli, who did a phenomenal film a few years back called Sick of Myself.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned this to me.
I love this film so much. One of those sort of really difficult character studies on a very difficult character that feels like it's talking somehow to me. I don't know how this works. It's a little bit like, Tim Robinson. This is an aside now.
Yeah.
But Tim Robinson's sketches sometimes feel like they're talking to me personally, even though they're so weird. I just feel like that's exactly how I feel somehow.
I need to make money out of this. This is just too good.
That's what Sick of Myself felt like. And then so the drama is now him going to America, having already made this film with Nick Cage, of course, a couple of years back.
Dream Scenario,
and making a film about... Spoilers.
Yeah, we're gonna.
You've not watched the drama.
Yeah, spoilers about the drama. Although it feels like all the internet know the spoilers. Even people around us are like, "Oh yeah, I saw that online." It's the least kept spoiler ever.
It's such a shame because I hear that it's not. I haven't seen any trailers before I went into it, so I did go in fully blind. That's just the only way to go. I hear that the trailers don't have it in the trailers as to what the film's about. Which is great.
The trailer is actually pretty good.
Yeah. So skip to time code.
You're not making me edit a time code.
Skip 5 minutes. If you haven't watched the drama. The drama's about school shootings in America. The drama is about two people who are about to get married and they play a game of what's the worst thing you've ever done in your life with some friends. And
less than a week before they get
married. And Zendaya admits that when she was a child, she came within a hair's breadth of committing a school shooting. And then that heavy subject matter is used for petty drama. It is just wedding shenanigans drama and spilling the tea. And it's so amazing to have a Norwegian filmmaker coming from outside of an American culture come in and just be like, your gun culture's fucked. What is wrong with you? That you just treat it like it's, oh, did you hear about the last one? It was in a wedding. It was in a school. Like, that's how he thinks.
Do you think the movie tackles gun culture that much?
Well, this specifically doesn't. It tackles other people's approach to gun culture. Because you're right, gun culture isn't particularly touched on all that much. But everybody else's reaction to it is done in this dark comedy premise of, like, we all just think of it as, oh, the last one was crazy. Did you hear how many? And like we treat it like it's a joke, like it's not something extremely serious and like absolutely horrendous that needs to be dealt with right now.
How was your cinema experience?
Phenomenal. So good. People were reacting like they were at the wedding. People were reacting like, "Oh shit!" It was. I've rarely been in a screen that engaged. How was yours?
Yeah, really the same. The same. It was much smaller screen. We were on holiday down south in Devon, and so it was like this tiny cinema with like an L-shaped configuration, the weirdest configuration ever. We must have been 10 of us in there, but the same. And I was the one reacting, to be honest. Like, especially when it comes to that wedding and the speeches.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like that direction, that it took a bit of a goofy, dark comedy, especially around that aspect of things, but I thought it was just the best. But the best scene in that movie, and then we really need to move on, is the photographer.
The photographer's fantastic. Yeah, so great.
We're going to shoot your mom.
Then we're going to shoot both of you. Oh, God. So, I mean, there's so many lovely sort of, it's awkward kind of cringe comedy, but done perfectly. Where it's just the uncomfortable. There's so many of those. Robert Pattinson trying to rewrite his speech and eventually rewriting it down to, look, I know worse people than you.
Yeah.
It's so well done.
Yeah. It's so good. And incredibly romantic.
Yeah.
At the end, when they find each other back in the diner, I love that. It was really nice.
That's it. They just start fresh.
Yeah. Without the preconceptions of like, well, it doesn't matter what society thinks about you. Here's how I feel about you. That was my reading of it. They kind of the weak stripped that all out for him, especially at the end, getting his ass beat. I think it really, and we gotta stop. But Robert Pattinson as like pathetic character, best thing ever. Watch Mickey 17, maybe one of his best.
Second in a row. And
he's so good. The scene where he's crying, but he's about to cheat on his fiancée. And it works in a way, but then it doesn't. Oh my God.
And the scene directly before that where he's trying to have a chill conversation about a hypothetical, say, of a friend to his colleague, and just getting more and more frustrated by her very reasonable answers of, I think I would call the police.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think the drama was like 4.5, 4 stars.
I love it. Yeah, I really, really, really loved it a lot.
Yeah.
But the only person who could make that film is someone who's an outsider to the culture, who's coming in and sort of seeing it with clear eyes and being able to make a comedy about it. I can see what you're saying, that people might find making a comedy about a subject matter that serious and making it somewhat goofy and funny and ultimately making the butt of the joke the audience for the fact that they're engaging with the premise that this is fun drama to laugh at. I can see how people might find that offensive or might find that difficult, but I think that's how you reach people. I think you reach more people like that, or for example, like Jojo Rabbit, the way that it dealt with sort of emergent fascism. You reach people through comedy. That's the way that you do it.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, cool. What did I watch? I watched a little movie called Coherence.
Yes.
Yeah, so 90-minute banger. It's a sci-fi movie filmed in a house, and there's a comet at this dinner party. There's a comet that passes over the Earth, and strange things start happening. You've seen it?
I have seen it, indeed.
I thought it was very effective.
It takes the premise and then sort of like does this, like, what would you do? Like, you're stuck in this situation. What's the best approach?
You're putting yourself in it at all times. And it blew my mind, actually, towards the end of it. I was like, wow, it's giving me so much to think about on nearly no budget. Nearly no budget. The writers in the movie as a cast member, like, it's just, But yeah, awesome. Also, it features one of the guys from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I was like, how did you get in here? But
I mean, my Buffy knowledge is poor. I always think of it in the same breath as Primer. If you've seen Primer, Primer is also a very, very low budget sci-fi that takes the premise and then goes like just pushes it as far as it's possible when sort of treating the scenario as realistically as it can. Coherence and Primer kind of go together in that. They're really well done.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Kind of want to talk about your viewing of A Clockwork Orange, but only in the context of The Stranger.
Okay, cool. Let's.
We can do takes to camera, right?
Yep. Okay. Let's just do it. So let's talk about The Stranger. So, what did you think about The Stranger?
Do you want to do I mean, you've done your intro, actually.
I have. We can just like jump straight into it.
This is my kind of film. So this is the topic that it's. Should we again spoil The Stranger as to what it is that is happening? I don't even necessarily think that it's a spoiler to say what it is that happened, because it's kind of the core premise of the film is that this event occurs.
Yeah, I guess we can start by saying, is it worth your time?
Yes.
I think so. It's slow, deliberate. It's definitely a slow burn, but it's very interesting. It's very well made. and it's definitely worth seeing at the cinema, I think.
Beautifully shot, thoughtful.
Yes, exactly. Go watch it. And if you have seen it, let's get into spoilers.
Okay, so he shoots a child, or he shoots a young boy, young man. How
I shouldn't be laughing.
Yeah, he does do that. Yeah. It's the second, like directly after the drama as well.
Yeah.
Just like, so gun violence is topic of discussion. But it is about this extremely apathetic, indifferent man who is earnest to who he is. He's living his authentic best life of kind of not caring and just being happy to sort of swim through it, who commits a completely inexplicable act of violence, blamed on everything from the son to revenge, depending on who it is that you're talking to the fact that he didn't bury his mum properly. And it's just trying
the courtroom proceedings after he's killed and they're trying to figure out why.
Yeah, why would you do this?
Why would you do this? And his reasons are far from your average reason for a murder, I guess, if there is ever a good reason anyway.
But then there is a second murder coming. We're building towards the murder of him. The state is going to murder him, and the state is trying to build its argument to say this is why we're going to murder him. And the state's argument is even more nonsensical than his. The film is then delving directly into whether or not capital punishment is something that should be carried out in this kind of circumstance. And when presented with like a textbook case of this man has committed murder and there was no good reason for doing so, you would think that on the face of it, that's enough if you're a capital punishment person, which I'm not. But if you were, you go, okay, fine, he's committed a heinous crime, let's kill him. But then when you actually have to express that and sort of make that logical case and explain why it must be done, suddenly your arguments become absolute nonsense. And talking about whether or not he buried his mum correctly and whether or not he was having an affair and whether or not his best friend was having an affair and whether or not he's friends with his best friend. It's all completely irrelevant stuff that's just sort of scattered around the outside. And for some reason, this is then a murder that society considers acceptable. A premeditated, cold-blooded, taking place a year later after a huge period of time of incarceration for no good reason, murder on the basis that he is just a bit weird and we kind of don't like him.
He did kill someone.
Oh, so it's okay to kill someone if there's okay to...
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying, you're saying he's incarcerated for nothing. I'm saying he did kill someone.
But he's not a threat to anyone. But if you're sort of trying to use that as a justification for it, then you can pretty quickly justify his murder. You can say, well, he killed someone who just slashed his friend in the face with a knife. So, you know, it's revenge. It's fine. It's understandable.
And in a way, that's how it could have gone if he was quote-unquote normal. There was this real feeling of like, you're going to get away with this because you just kill an Arab and nobody really cares about that.
And then race comes into it and gender comes into it a lot. The court proceedings are absolutely flooded with the unpleasant underbelly of society that we try not to talk about. The victim is never named, I think. They're just referred to as the Arab throughout.
So, about that, in the book, the victim isn't named, and François, I'm going to call him François, why not? François added that to the movie. And in a way, it's central to the movie, and the naming and the identity of this person gives a lot of context to the period, I think. Yeah.
And then if you were to, the arguments that are then being made in that courtroom are, if you were to try and pass like a nice simple morality from it, you'd think, well, the prosecution is standing up for the rights of this person who died and is trying to do the right thing. But even the prosecution is doing nothing but calling him the Arab the whole time and suggesting that, you know, the fact that he had a knife on him is the reason for committing murder and sort of justifying it.
Well, let's step back a bit. Let's talk about Meursault at the beginning.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So Meursault as a character, a little strange, right? I would say today, you would say he'd be on some kind of spectrum of some sorts.
Sure.
But it was definitely not what I think Albert Camus put in his book. I don't think that was the intention at all. But he seems apathetic about most things. And it starts at the very beginning when he gets a telegram, I believe, that his mother's passed. And you see him go to his employer, and he's like, "I'm sorry." He's apologetic for like taking time off because he understands that that's going to piss off his employer, and it does piss off his employer actually. Yeah. Which was really grating. He's like, "Well, how long are you going to be gone for?" He's like, "I need 2 days." Like, okay, fine, go. And he's like, "Okay." Then he goes to he goes to bury his mum, but I think he's suffering from this the conflicting aspect of, well, this was going to happen.
Yep.
This is life.
but then it's treated as so absurd.
Yes.
His mum seems to have this whole social circle. She's got a fiance,
Yeah.
like a group of people enter, and it's like, oh, this is all your mum's friends. And he's just sat in the corner, doesn't seem to know any of these people, doesn't seem to care much about any of these.
Not at all. Not at all. But it didn't feel to me like he was inconvenienced either. It just felt like he was going through, with the motions of it, of like societal norms, I guess, of like, this is a funeral and this is what happens. But he comes off as very cold.
He comes off as cold, I guess you could say that.
He doesn't pick up the fiancée who's like dying next to him as they're walking to the funeral, and the guy's like, it's 500 meters behind, like literally struggling with his life under the Algerian weather. And then he also struggles and he passes out in front of Meursault, and Meursault is like smoking a cigarette, being like, all right.
Yeah. It's framing a lot of what's going on around him as absurd, and then having him as this very apathetic, just not engaging with a lot of the heightened emotions that are around him. And it spreads throughout the rest of the film. He starts an affair with this woman who is asking if...
An affair?
I'm sorry, he starts a relationship with this woman, I apologize. But then is being asked by her, would you marry me? Well, if I want to, it's fine, doesn't matter. Well, would you marry someone else? Yeah, no, it's fine. He's not really engaged with this.
Yeah, but he also doesn't justify it neither. And when she seems to not understand his point of view, he goes like, well, why should I be a certain way? At the end of it, actually, she says, do you love me if... Or no, he says, I can't remember now, but it's something along the lines of like, you're going to forget me and that's fine. If you died, I would forget you. Yeah. So he says a lot of hurtful shit.
And then when she's saying, would you, marry someone else if you're in love with them, or if you're in a relationship with them, his answer is naturally. Naturally is his answer. So he's very detached from this sort of emotional life surrounding him. He's detached from the morality of his neighbor who's beating the crap out of his dog.
So that's the character played by Denis Lavant, Salamano, who's a big figure in the book too. And I think the idea is, you can explain it. I guess the fact that there's the dog, right? This dog, and he's beating the crap out of the dog.
Yeah, absolutely. But then you have a real turn in that character once he loses the dog, and it's clearly absolutely devastating to him to have.
So devastating.
It's horrendous. And the film does a phenomenal job to be able to get you to sympathize with someone who 10 minutes earlier was hitting a dog.
Multiple times.
You
hear the dog getting beat the whole movie, basically.
And yet somehow it can turn you around on that. But all of these ideas, and then it's building into the main thrust of the plot, which we'll get to in a second, it's just this absurd life that surrounds Meursault, and he's like a little ocean of calm that's just not engaging. He's just outside of any of this. He's not engaging with his dead mum, he's not engaging with his boss, he's not engaging with his girlfriend, he's not engaging with the neighbor. And when things start to escalate with, we're going to call him his friend, Santos. It's unclear if that is... that
was also a bit confusing, where I was like, is he looking for friends, or is it just like... Does he understand the concept of friends?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he just like, Santos starts talking to him, so he's like, I guess I'll engage in this conversation.
But he also he's being coerced, I guess is the word. Like, he's being used also as a way for this character played by Pierre Lottin, Raymond Santos, who's I believe he kind of runs like a prostitute ring of some sort.
Seems to be a pimp, yeah.
He seems to be a pimp, and he's beating on this woman, and he's being followed by this group of Arab young men who are seeking revenge on the beating of their sister. Anyway, our main character, Meursault, helps this awful character.
Simply because he was asked, seemingly. Like, he doesn't seem to have any stake in the game, really, but is perfectly happy to go along because of this, just like, disconnection. And if there was any, well, there was a lot of violence in the film anyway, but if there was a murder coming, you can just sense it coming between Santos and the brother of Jamila. Yeah. That's where the tension is, and you can just feel this escalation that Santos is going to do something violent, or that Jamila's brother is going to do something violent. And then it's completely left field. It's not that at all. It seems like it's going that way for so long, until out of nowhere, it's Meursault who kills someone. Violence in this world is blunt and inexplicable and disconnected from the emotions that people are feeling, disconnected from these really strong forces that are driving people to take action. Violence just happens. It just happens. And that's then something which you then have to unpick.
I wanted to talk about the fact that like Marie Cardona, who's played by Rebecca Marder, sorry, she plays the fiancée. Maybe it's a quirk of the book, but I had a hard time believing that she'd be like, "You want to get married?" Person who's never shown any sense of like any show of affection, emotion. The one thing that Meursault seems to be drawn to is physical. Actually, I think it seems like he's more alive than ever when they get intimate. And I think that's how he shows his emotions, I guess. But is it even emotion? It feels like just like this feels, I don't know.
I guess it's almost like a bodily function, like something that happens naturally.
But he is drawn to it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Much as he is to eating. That's how it feels to me. I guess it's a bodily function. He has to do it. And so it's something that he sort of like engages in. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't feel like something that he is tying emotions into, because he's not tying emotions into anything.
Yeah.
He's this sort of disconnected guy.
So in A Clockwork Orange, there's...
This is going to be relevant, I can only assume, based on... Because the Clockwork Orange.
I saw A Clockwork Orange a couple of days after I saw The Stranger. And in A Clockwork Orange, Alex, our main character, so it's based on a book, and in the book he narrates the whole thing. In the movie by Kubrick, he does also narrate most of it. This movie, The Stranger, in the book, L'Étranger, Meursault narrates the whole thing. François Ozon made the decision here to not have the main character narrate everything. He does narrate, but the script for the dialogue must be less than 2 pages.
It's sparse. It's
very
very
sparse.
infrequent that he narrates.
Yeah, and so I thought that was an interesting like juxtaposition of like also the entertainment value of movies. That the fact that like I don't know if it does a disservice, but it could be maybe a bit slow going for most people, considering
because the film becomes quite slow paced as a result.
And you're following someone who is really grating at some point. Like it's hard to...
He's a difficult guy.
Yeah, he is a difficult guy, for sure.
He is a difficult guy, but he, letting you, the audience, just kind of like intuit his response to situations based on the guy's acting. I don't know what the name of the actor is. He does a great job.
Benjamin Voisin.
Okay, he's fantastic. Fantastic, the guy who plays Meursault. Because he is... If he wasn't capable of expressing what little emotion the character has effectively...
It's in the eyes. There's something in his eyes that are like kind of like... empty. Absolutely empty.
And yet sort of showing it sometimes. The comparison that I would have in that is a bizarre comparison, but Ad Astra.
Okay.
Where like
Brad Pitt,
there was way too much narration explaining how Brad Pitt's feeling in that film for my liking. Because Brad Pitt is doing a great job of also playing someone who is repressing their emotions and having very small sort of fluctuations in who they are.
Yeah.
So I think that you can express that. He can express that. Brad Pitt can express that very, very well. And then having a voiceover over the top that says "I am lonely" that completely takes me out of it. That doesn't help at all.
Yeah.
Where yes, same thing here.
Netflix would hate this movie.
God, Netflix, yeah. They're going to keep telling you what happened.
Yeah, in this movie, we're very much left to our own devices, and he never explains himself either. He doesn't explain himself much at all. Maybe towards the end when he has that one-to-one with the priest, or actually...
in the courtroom.
He seems extremely uncomfortable in the courtroom because he's repetitively asked to justify himself. And he's like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
The guy, I killed him because he was reflecting sun in my eyes. That really bothered me. And so I shot him.
Well, you've even gone further than what he says. Even in trying to say it as little as possible, he really bothered me is not something that
they're like, why did you kill him?
The sun was in my eyes.
The sun.
That's literally, that's all the answer that he has.
Yeah.
But is that not a more reasonable cause for killing someone than some elaborate reason that has the attempt of logic in it? If you try to put logic into something like taking a human life, is that not worse? When the state says it's a really good reason and we should do it on purpose and we should do it in a year from now after we've locked the guy in the room for
in a controlled environment.
Yeah. From someone who has got no idea who this guy is and it's his job. The guy's job professionally is to kill people.
I think the movie also is hard sometimes because as a average human being, I would definitely have a tendency to try to attach logic to actions.
Yeah.
So when he's going back with the gun against his fiance's advice, where she's like, where are you going? He's like, that way. And then he goes, and then he sees our victim, and then he shoots the victim. And then I'm like, why are we doing this?
Yes. What's the why in this?
Yeah. Also, why did the victim come back? I think that's a quirk of the book.
But that's also another. So my understanding of philosophy is quite slim, and sometimes it feels like sort of fumbling in the dark. And then very, very briefly, the light gets turned on. And you're like, oh, I saw it, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've almost had it just for a second there.
Yeah.
And it's just slipped out my fingers. But so that feels like it's an expression of this kind of existentialism, which is the
Existentialism is the word.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Where like life is absurd, and attempting to push logic onto it or lead an authentic life and a logical life within this absurd, violent world that doesn't make any sense.
None.
Is a fool's errand. It's a difficult game to try to explain any of this, rather than just sort of taking it as it is.
He does have this whole kind of arc of him, having to explain it and not being able to.
Yeah. When put in a corner and told to.
And he's uncomfortable with it. He's like, oh, he says it's important not to play the game. Do you remember that?
Yes.
He says that. He says, don't play the game. And
like war games.
Yeah, I guess he's figured out, in his world, the world is a game, and he's like, we just don't play the game.
No.
It's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah. That he's in this courtroom where there are two people who don't know him, one of whom is going to twist any words that come out of anybody's mouth to say Meursault is a murderer who must die, and one of whom is going to twist any words that come out of anybody's mouth to say Monsieur Meursault is a good man and he did nothing wrong.
He doesn't lie also.
And he is this guy who doesn't lie.
Never
lies. He's disconnected, he's honest, and he's not playing this game. He's just refusing. And so when put into a corner and made to either like accept a god that he doesn't believe in later in the film, or to like try to put some logic onto his actions that he doesn't have to give, he's extremely uncomfortable. He doesn't have anything.
It's a great final scene where the priest played by Swan Arlo, who you'll find in Anatomy of a Fall. He plays one of the lawyers, I believe. So he comes in and he's like, all right, buddy, I know what this is. I've seen a million of yous. Time to repent to God. And he gets really angry, actually. Like, Meursault is just like, could you please leave me alone? Like, I don't want to play the game, basically, right? That's what he says.
Yeah.
And the priest just can't believe the words he's hearing.
It seems like the priest has that idea of there are no atheists in foxholes sort of drilled into his head. You're absolutely, in this moment, one day from being executed, there's no way that you're going to be an atheist.
Yeah, and in the book he gets beheaded, and you don't see the beheading in the movie except in a dream sequence. There's a dream sequence where he sees his mom. She says something, and this is really interesting. She says, in my opinion, she says something that also has no logic to me.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it's like, well, this is what she would say on an average day and I don't control what she says, so sometimes she'll just say weird things. So that's how he remembers her. And then he does see like his death basically, and he goes to it willingly in a way because he's like, I don't control this.
Yeah,
that's it. Really positive movie. Really,
what a lovely movie. It's so great that you accidentally watched A Clockwork Orange directly after this.
Yes, because we also have Alex as a character, although he is more framed as like a psychotic, crazy person, basically. In my opinion, he definitely. Yeah, the themes of A Clockwork Orange have more to do with like the evil of the state and the evil it inflicts on its people, no matter where they come from. But I can definitely draw a parallel between Alex and Meursault, I think.
Yeah.
Where Meursault is definitely not as violent or rapey, but
yes, engaging in extracurricular activities. But there's two very different approaches to violence of the people. The Clockwork Orange versus The Stranger, but the violence of the state is kind of the same in response to both. That it is cold and it is justified and it is retribution. And for some reason we attach a sense of morality to that. And we don't attach a sense of morality to the violence committed by individuals outside of a system.
Yeah.
The systematized violence of A Clockwork Orange is much more extreme, where it's brainwashing and it's the destruction of self, and it is extremely, it's cruel and it's gleeful. And it's trying to reshape somebody into a model citizen. It's trying to make them another brick in the wall.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that's incredible, yeah.
But to me, that's so much worse than any other form of violence. and yet it's something that we're kind of trying, but because it has logic behind it, this world of us trying to explain everything, even though it makes no sense.
And then we have, well, the fact that we have all the colonialism stuff, which is not necessarily represented in the book. But did you catch, like, did you get an idea of like what was going on?
So, I mean, I understand the colonialism of French, I don't understand it in detail, but I'm aware that sort of Algeria at that time would have been a French colony.
Yeah.
And, of course, the sort of the racism of the way that they treat those
100%
is sort of, being exploited for their bodies or just for the sense of justice of the system, and never sort of treated as their own characters or their own people with agency.
And his wife, well, his fiance goes and talks to Jamila.
Yeah.
And she says something along the lines of, he's home. And Jamila's like, what are you talking about? He's not, this is not his house, his home, you know, stuff like that. Although I do believe he was born there.
Well, but it's still not, well, from the perspective of that character, there's a question of national identity and home, of course.
Yeah. So I have a few quotes here from an interview with François Ozon where he says, he was talking about the movie that a director called Visconti made in 1967, where he tried to make L'Étranger, so the adaptation. And Visconti had Camus' widow on the set, and she asked him to follow exactly the book, page by page, word by word. French filmmaker François Ozon told The Nightly, so this is the interview, sorry, when you make a literal adaptation of a book, it doesn't work. You have to accept the idea of betrayal. You have to have a new vision. So I guess when you approach any adaptation, you have to go from a director's point of view, you have to go from the idea that, like, I'm going to piss people off, I'm going to betray people to make this into a good movie. I think that's what he's saying. And I think he's done that because he's put a lot more emphasis on the victim, and colonialism and stuff, and he's also ripped up all the narration from our main character.
It's not just that he is moving from one medium to another in the adaptation, it's also that almost 100 years have passed since the writing of that original book.
True.
And the world has changed. It's
True.
The same man doesn't stand in the same river twice type situation, where we're living in a completely different world, and so you're always going to make that story in a different way.
He adds that you have to make something else with the material, and it might be a masterpiece, but you have to try to make another masterpiece.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good way to approach adaptation. There's certainly, obviously, this isn't the kind of source material which is going to have fans, quote unquote, in the way we think of them today. But when, for example, earlier when we were talking about video game adaptations, there's this idea of being like sort of like putting things in there for the fans, putting sort of Easter eggs in there or that sort of thing, and that's not probably a very good way to approach an adaptation thing because your eye is at least partially on fandom and the way that the original was appreciated as opposed to sort of making something which is appreciated for its own merit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. So let's see. Is there anything else that we want to talk about this one? Mark, would you shoot someone for flashing sunlight in your eyes?
Again, yeah, after the first time. That's the question. I mean, oh man, no, I wouldn't. But I'd rather do that than have a systematized killing of that man out of retribution. I would considerably rather do that.
Okay, that's good to know whenever that happens.
Random violence is better than deliberate violence. You know?
I'll bring that to your court hearing.
That sounds good. Yeah. That clip is going to follow me around.
Let's talk about recommendations, actually. Like, do you have any recommendations for people who've watched this and they want to go watch something else? So you've seen a few of this for directors' movies?
I have. Yeah, By the Grace of God is a really nice movie. I'd say nice. It's a really good movie. This guy likes to approach difficult subject matter, as you might be able to tell. So By the Grace of God is about the church sex abuse cases in France with young people. Children, that's really fantastically done. But the film that this most makes me think of is a Japanese film called Cure, which has a similar approach of, like, it's a very, very different setting.
Yeah, of course.
And done in a very different tone and genre, but it is the same kind of, like, violence is blunt and it is nonsensical. Don't try to understand, any attempt to understand it is a path to madness. And it's this sort of virus that just sort of spreads with no reason. Another kind of really nice way of approaching the subject matter.
Wow. That's actually such an interesting thing to bring up, Cure. I really like that. Well, I want to give a few recommendations. If you are interested in French cinema and you haven't seen much, but you want to see something that's maybe a bit more digestible, I don't know. You could watch. There's a couple movies that I would recommend. The first one is Police, Polisse, from 2011. It's a movie about a police squad in Paris who specialize in kids who are abused. It's phenomenal. And then the next one I'm going to recommend is In Safe Hands, 2018. A bit of a tearjerker about foster families in France who foster babies and kids. And it's specifically about this guy who has fostered a million teenagers, basically. And him and his wife are like, okay, I think it's time to like not do this anymore because it's really difficult. And his last foster situation is a baby who's abandoned, and he becomes a parent again, and the whole thing. Oh yeah, very, very good. I really recommend these movies. Hidden gems, in my opinion. I want more people to watch this. There you go. Okay, cool. So now we're going to move on to watching Photo de Famille together with Mark. So if you're listening to the audio of this, you will not see Photo de Famille, but you can watch it on YouTube. If you search Photo de Famille, you'll find it, and we'll be narrating as we watch it. It's a 6-minute short movie by François Ozon, so the director of The Stranger. We're going to be watching his very, very first short film, and it's a 6-minute short film that we're going to watch now.
What year is this? This is
1988.
88. Okay, so this is almost 40 years worth of career behind him.
Yeah, I think he was not even 18 at this point. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
It's silent also. So, Rob, our producer, whenever you're ready, there you go. You can tell it's low budget.
I mean, you know, we've lost something with digitization of everything. It's the old analog days that we miss.
So his family are on a sofa watching a movie. We'll talk about that in a second, actually.
Well,
do you recognize this movie?
I do not recognize this movie.
Do you recognize the actor? Doesn't matter, he's gone.
Who was it?
Gérard Depardieu. The movie was Cyrano de Bergerac.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Me neither.
Only seen a terrible version with Peter Dinklage.
And and now they're all having dinner. The family's having dinner, and in comes François Ozon himself.
Excellent. Young François Ozon.
Very young, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not 18 here. And he's joining his family for dinner. And they all seem really happy to see him. Now, we don't know if this had audio originally, but we looked everywhere, and there was no audio on all 3 versions of this that I've seen. So here we go. Gets a bit of food.
I mean, it doesn't. I think this seems deliberate. This seems like it was the intention.
Maybe, or you would just get a bit, as you said, a bit of music maybe behind it.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Just an extremely chill family dinner, and because well, Jesus, what the hell? That was a lot of intercut shots of faces.
Yeah. And back then, you'd have to manually edit that, I'm sure.
Oh God, that is a couple of frames at a time.
So, family's finished. They all leave. They're all leaving the room. And now mother is reading and taking notes. Sister is listening to music on her Walkman. I miss those. And father is asleep on the couch.
Is that a Playboy?
No. This looks very Parisian, by the way. This looks like a traditional Parisian apartments, by the way. Super small because it's Paris.
Sure.
Now, this is François putting pills in the coffee that he's going to bring his mom.
Right.
He brings the coffee.
This has gone from chill found footage of family to
I'm killing my mom.
Sinister.
Yeah. So she's having the coffee. Delicious. Also, interesting shot where behind him, where you can see the back of his head and her, and now back to him. And he's like, all right, safe, see ya. Off he walks. She drinks the entire coffee.
He's downing that. Respect.
Time to go visit my sister. How's it going,
God.
sister? I love that you recommend that we do this and you've never seen this.
No, this is the reason. This is the reason to watch it live, right?
Hey, my.
Oh Jesus.
We pick up something.
Scissors.
Overhead shot of the item, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a scissors, by the way. And time to kill my sister. And she's dead.
Yeah, that was one shot to, I would say, the upper right shoulder, which for some reason was mortal.
But look at this. Oh, like,
Ooh,
oh,
that
yeah,
was
we
the
shot it.
sinister-
It's
the
sinister
sinister
shot of
look
him
in his
looking
face.
down on his sister. He's just murdered. Very happy with it. I love that he's got his little long sleeve T-shirt tucked into his
Yeah, he's such
high
a good
top
boy,
tee.
right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. This
Oh,
is
Mum,
like.
I'm so sorry.
So
You took all
mom
the
is dead.
coffee.
We see mom died from the coffee. Now time to go visit dad. Dad's sleeping.
Still got that Playboy. Oh, a cushion. Okay, well, a cushion is a... Oh, God.
He's bringing a cushion to his dad, and then he's going to slowly smother his father.
Oh,
And the
nice.
dramatic shot, there is.
Excellent, excellent
He
shot
knows
of
how to
that
use
hand
light. You know what I mean? Father has
Wow.
passed away.
Rest in peace to the
Rest in
father.
pepperoni. He's gone.
And smiling as the cushion is removed from the face there, the actor.
And now he's picking up mom from the table, and he's going to drag her to.
What kind of nightcrawler shit is this?
So he's picking up all his deceased family, basically.
Uh,
He would never be able to pick up this adult
that
male, by the way.
That definitely helped.
Yeah, dad is like,
Yeah.
oh, he actually just shimmied him up on the couch. And now he's picking up mom, and he's put her on the couch too.
Right, rearranging, getting her nice and comfy. Oh. Family photo.
Ah, I was going to say, do you remember the name of this short?
It's dragging his sister by the
Dragging
arm.
his sister by the arm.
Tell me there are stairs.
No, not in a Parisian apartment.
Ah, shame.
And then he knocks her down. Well, he puts her down on the couch. So now we've got all the three, the whole
All the
family on the
dead family
couch,
members.
but very much dead. And now
We're setting up for the photo.
we're setting up for the photo. So François Ozon, the director of The Stranger in 2026, is setting up to take a picture of his dead family.
For
And
some reason, this young man later in life had thoughts about the meaninglessness of violence that he wanted to consider.
now he's sitting down with his family to take the picture.
Well,
Well, to be
very
in part, to be
nice.
part of the
yeah,
family.
on a timer. Excellent family photo.
Taking the picture, and the picture's taken. Fun. The
And
end.
that's- wow.
With now,
Oh.
get ready for
Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay, yeah.
Gui- Oh wait, was that his brother? Guillaume Ozon. That wasn't his.
Oh, wow.
That wasn't him. It was his brother.
Their little hand moving on dead dad there.
Well, no,
And
they're
actually
very much
died.
alive. This is the cast.
Right, so the cast are all of his family.
Paris, Décembre 1988.
With all of his actual family.
With all of his actual family.
So the film that he wanted to make in his
There we have
youth
it.
was shooting him murdering his own family.
Or his brother murdering his whole family.
Or his brother murdering his own family. That is true. He just wrote it and then made his brother kill everybody. That's...
Interesting.
Do you know what that's really making me think of? Again, this is a weird point of comparison. Have you seen Ari Aster's student film,
No, but you did recommend it to me.
Yes.
Which is like.
The Strange Thing About the Johnsons?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Is it similar?
It is. I don't want to say what it's about
Okay.
because it's another one to go into blind, much like the drama. But it is also the kind of film that you come out of and think, well, if you were this guy's dad and you saw that he made this at the age of 20 and that was his student short, wow, that would give you some thoughts about how they were doing.
But it's funny how, young. I mean, I haven't calculated his age, but even him as a young man was immediately drawn to, I don't know,
Right.
senseless
Just
violence.
a senseless violence and bringing some humor into it. Just sort of like quirky, making light of. Not that there's much humor in The Stranger, but the absurdity of it.
The absurdity of what's the reasoning behind this? If anything, this is a bit of the same. It's like there is no reason for what
Yeah.
he's doing. He's just doing it for, I don't know. It's
helps.
weird.
That's someone coming full circle through their career, sort of making something feature length that is exploring in a lot more depth.
I'd love to be on a junket with him one day and then just bring that up immediately.
Yeah,
and
be
be
like,
like,
"Hey,
yeah,
consider
so
this a
let's talk about this
spiritual sequel."
really weird thing you released in 1988. And he probably like cringes at the idea of having made that. And it's very hard to find this video. It's like on YouTube once in a Russian account. It's weird. But it definitely is a time capsule, right, of like what he's become. And I thought that was really interesting as a thought experiment. Thanks for bringing that.
I mean, that is a good. That is always good to see someone's like low budget, what they could make with whatever camcorder they had around the house, and whatever the first thought in their head was when they were 18. That's always something worth.
Yeah, in 1988, in your parents' flat, and cool family to be like, yeah, that's fine.
You can shoot me dead. Yeah, that's
yeah.
fine.
Isn't that weird though? Is this idea that like, what if your kid Mabel decided like, Dad, listen.
If Mabel wants to make a video, I'm so excited. I cannot tell you.
What if the first thing she brings up is like, I would really like to kill you and Mom?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we're gonna have to unpack that later on.
We'll deal with that later. Yeah, we are definitely watching Strange Thing About the Johnsons together at some point. That'll be a laugh.
I'd like to. But yeah, what an interesting thing to do. I mean, we've made the comparisons really between both movies, but again, there is kind of a line that we can draw between both. Yeah. And it's making me really curious about his other stuff also.
I mean, like I say, it's only by the grace of God that I've seen, but there's also something in there about trying to attach logic as a method of moving past something. You know, someone who's been through something very traumatic in their childhood, as an adult, then trying to like find the people who did it, try to get some explanation, some kind of sense of understanding what happened. And whether or not that would help in any way. So yeah, also difficult subject matter, but also, yeah, kind of comfortable themes.
Would you recommend The Stranger?
Now, to who is the first question, because there are definitely people that I would not recommend The Stranger. There's a lot of people who I would not recommend The Stranger to, because it's slow and just sort of like a film to kind of sit in and think about. But it's also so beautifully shot. The black and white photography is amazing. It's just so deep and rich.
I'm happy you brought that up, because Algeria is a beautiful country and it's full of sun and it's full of beauty. And I felt like the black and white sapped that. It kind of took it away. I did. Well, it took away from me the warmth of the place. You know. No,
I can see what you're saying there.
And it's kind of showing me this version of it that is maybe how Meursault sees things, of like kind of things are a bit
binary.
A bit binary and a bit also, well, I don't know, what's the point? I don't know, like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he's just a creature of the moment.
When he looks at something, he doesn't see the beauty in it, he sees the facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially. I could see a lot in it.
You remember that scene where he's, like, his boss, who doesn't love him that much, is like, listen, would you like to go to Paris? And to, like, fucking run the whole thing. And he's like, why would I do that?
Yeah, I think he says one life is no better than another.
Yeah, one life is no better than another. He sounds like a drag, dude. Like, I would not want to be around him.
He's not a good hang.
No, he's not a good hang, but good for him for existing for such a small amount of time, really, because he must have died in his 30s, I'm guessing.
Yeah, quite young.
Quite young. And also...
But he lived his truest life.
He lived his truest life, but I can't help but feel a pang of like, you could have been with her. She was awesome. She was too good for you, buddy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's just me projecting, really. She's cool. Okay, that's it. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
All right, well done to us for another episode in the can. Thank you so much to everybody for watching this episode about L'Étranger, and also a little weird little movie he made, François Ozon, in 1988. Don't forget to review and subscribe and that kind of stuff, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Don't subscribe.
What? No, please do.
What?
All right.